Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Cathy Chapman, and I'm delighted to be with you. Today, I'm going to share with you some things about what I believe the most difficult emotion is. That emotion is fear. Almost every other tough emotion that we struggle with, no matter what it is, anger, jealousy, envy, etc., 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 comes from fear. So, for instance, if we look at anger, anger is an outgrowth of fear because you get angry when you're afraid of losing your job. You get angry when you're afraid that someone you love is going to leave you or is going to pass on. You get angry when somebody belittles you. Also, just to go with two more, jealousy and envy. Its basis is fear because why are you jealous of someone having a person that you would like to? The jealousy comes from fear of being alone. What about envy? That's about things. What is it about things that you are envious? What symbolism does things have for you? That you succeeded, that you're worth something? So, those are some examples of how different emotions come from fear. The basis of everything is fear. Think of everything you might be afraid of. You might be afraid of starting a new job, finding a job. You might be afraid of learning a new skill. You might not be willing to take those risks. Would you believe that we are only born with two innate fears? The fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. Both of those fears protect us, keep us safe from doing something silly that could end up getting us killed. Now, you don't always have to have a loud noise to let you know that something could cause some problems, but this is a learned fear, a fear of rattlesnakes. Now, I'm from Texas and would go walking in central Texas a lot. And one day I was out walking and I heard the distinctive rattle of a rattlesnake tail. And let me tell you, I'm not someone who can jump very far, but I must have jumped 6, 8 feet to get away from where I heard that rattle. I was not wanting to get bit by any old rattlesnake. So you learn other fears, other sounds that you know can be dangerous, like a speeding car. What about those of you who are parents? You know when your child screams in pain or in fear, different from when your child is screaming because their brother or sister took their toy truck, right? So those fears are learned. You could probably sit down and make a list of things that you're afraid of. It could be afraid of being late. It could be afraid of being fired. It could be afraid of drowning. So those are some things that we often have fears about that we learned. And those are good fears. It's not that you don't want to be fearful or get into the alert stage of certain fears. But when we have fears that come to us from childhood that interfere with relationships, like if you're afraid always of losing someone, that's a heavy burden on the other person and it can disrupt your relationships. In my work with people, I have two, paradigms that I work from. The first is the spiritual paradigm that we were created by a loving God who wanted us to be here upon this earth. And that loving God has a plan for us. And we actually, in my belief system, we agreed to that plan. That's why we came down here. And whatever you are doing in your life that is important, and you may not even realize how important it is part of God's plan for you. So I work from a spiritual perspective. I also work from what's called the mind-body perspective. I have a doctorate in mind-body psychology. I also have a master's in theology and a couple of other degrees in psychology. But those have brought together to me the essence of who it is we are. In mind-body psychology, what we come to realize is that we are an interconnected whole, just are a person. We are not segments, like we're not just a body. Just like our body, it isn't just an arm that can cause all kinds of problems. We are also interconnected through our emotions and through our thoughts and through our actions, through our spiritual beliefs as well. When we have a change in any one of those areas, let's say somebody insults you, it affects us on every level. Of course, you're going to be upset if someone insults you, right? Now, depending upon how you handle things, you will either go into depression or anxiety, or you get really angry. What happens with that is that our body responds to insults. It responds to fear in particular ways. So your brain makes neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, that type of thing. And when you are feeling good, all that serotonin and dopamine helps you to feel better, and it helps your brain to work better, and it raises your immune system. You even get stronger. But when whatever happens to you brings you down, if it's a fear response, if it's depression or anxiety, and of course, anxiety is a fear response, right? It lowers our immune system. It weakens our ability to handle the world. On top of that, we have an energy field. You've probably heard of the aura, chakras, meridians, is that when there is a, let's say, negative vibe, when there's a negative vibe, that energy can come into our energy field. And depending upon where it comes in, it can also affect our physical body. Negativity, not only the way it interacts, is that it can affect us spiritually. We may begin to doubt that we're lovable or that we can love in ourselves, because every part of you is interconnected, emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, energetic. If you have something going on with you, it could be something emotional going on, it could be a pain in your neck. I can help you identify that to either release the feeling that's caught or to do healing work to release the pain and the wound that is there. Now, we're going to have a little fun with releasing feelings when they're caught in the body. But what I want to go to is to tell you a little bit more about feelings. You've probably heard the expression, the tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. It's like you walk into a room and you go, ooh, this doesn't feel really good. Now, you can also walk into a place like a church and you feel really peaceful. That's a different type of what we call thought forms. Those are the good things that we really enjoy. But when you walk into the room and it just feels yuck, then you know that something is going on. That is a feeling that has been placed into the room. And we call them thought forms. They come from thoughts, they come from feelings. That energy, let's just use fear because that's what I'm working with today. When there is a lot of fear around, you can absorb that fear. That fear came from someone else, and it could have come from a lot of someone else's. Fear can be palpable. You may have heard the expression is don't let them smell your fear. That actually is because the sense of smell is connected to the amygdala deep within your brain, and the amygdala is activated during fear. But if you have something going on with you, and which of us don't, it could be a pain in your neck, your chest, your arm. I can assist you in finding out what that pain is about. I can assist you in finding out what that feeling that got lodged in there is and where it came from and how to release it. And part of mind-body psychology is to be able to delve deeply into your beliefs, to delve deeply into how you handle the experiences of your life. Fear is not you. Your emotions are not you. Anything that is not you can be observed. You can observe your fear. You can observe your fear. You can observe your joy. You can observe happiness. So those are not you, and those can be released from you, or actually, as in happiness and joy, can be brought into you. But we're going to be working with fear and how to release it. One way we're going to do that is through your breath, and I'm going to take you through that. And the other way we're going to do that is through a prayer called the soul healing prayer. Sometimes I call it the soul healing process because some people, for whatever reason, they don't like the word prayer. Not sure why, but you accept people where they are, right? I mentioned a little earlier that emotions can be produced by you, like you have your own fear. When I saw that rattlesnake, well, I didn't actually see it, to be honest with you. I heard it. When I heard that rattlesnake, I had fear come up from within me. But you can also have fear projected onto you by someone else. So somebody can be afraid for you. Happens with parents a lot, doesn't it? You parents, is that you may have this innate fear that is within you about somebody coming home late, or you know that somebody's being bullied. Did they get bullied that day? You are afraid for your child. You may be afraid for your spouse. Your spouse may be late. Or how about your teenager is an hour past curfew? There's that point, where you're angry. And then there's that point where you're just absolutely afraid. When you have those feelings of fear, and they're real intense feelings, and you're thinking about your child, your spouse, your friend, whoever that may be, you are actually projecting fear onto them. I know that's not your intention, but you're projecting that fear onto them. We use the term energy follows intent. So the energy is the fear that you have created within yourself about that person, and the person, that's the intent. The energy goes right to that person. So when we're releasing the fear today, when I take you through the process, I'm going to do it in two different ways. It's actually the same way, but I'm going to use different words. When there is a fear that you created, when there is a fear that you created within your body, that gets stuck. When we talk about stuffed feelings, there can also be the fear, and it can be any emotion, but there can also be the fear that is projected onto you by someone else. So let's say one of your parents was a worrywart, and they were constantly afraid of what happened to you. They were constantly afraid that maybe you weren't going to do well, or they were afraid that you would be hurt. That especially happens when you have been hurt at one time, and then they're so afraid that it's going to happen again. So the other type of fear, the one that, other than the one that you stuff, is the one that's projected onto you by someone else. And both of those can become lodged in your body. And I'm going to show you how to release them. All you have to do is to listen to this part of the video repeatedly, and it'll take you through the process, and you can use it at any time. Okay, I think that's enough background for you. So this is how you're going to get in touch with the energy of fear, and you can use this for any emotion, by the way. Go into your heart. You can either move to the center of your chest, if you know about chakras, and move into your heart chakra, or you can focus on your physical heart. It doesn't matter which one. Just imagine going deep within. Take some gentle breaths in and out, and with each breath, imagine going deeper and deeper into your heart, to that wonderful space of love. Now just play along with me here and suspend all judgment and just see what happens. So remember, we have two fears, or how two fears were created. One is the fear that is created from within us, and the other is that projected onto other people. So you're centered now when you are in your heart. And now let's get you grounded. One of the easiest ways I know to get you grounded is to imagine growing roots from your feet. Just imagine those roots are going deep, deep into the earth. Take a few more gentle, deep breaths, and you are now centered and grounded. Now to find the energy of fear. There's a couple of ways to do it, not just a couple of ways to release it, but a couple of ways to find the energy of fear. So here's one of them. Think of the last time that you were afraid or really anxious, which is a form of fear. It could have been being late for work and you were told never to be late again. It could be fear about a loved one. Just get in touch with that. Now notice your body. Where do you feel the fear in your body? There's usually a tension that is there. Your gut could get really firm. You might feel a little panic. Well, find out where that panic is coming from. If you're not real sure, look for a place in your body that's tight. Now, focus on that place where you feel the energy of fear in your body. Here's the fun part. You're going to talk to the energy of fear, and it's going to respond to you. Now, just observe the fear. Don't get caught up in it. Just observe the fear. Now, say out loud, "Fear, I want to talk to you." Notice what happens. People experience different things when they talk to the fear. Some say it's an awareness of another consciousness or knowledge. Some say there's a movement within them. Now that you're aware of that consciousness, or it's letting you know in some way that it's there, I'm going to have you ask some questions. The answer is the first thing that pops into your mind. No worries about whether you're making it up or not. It doesn't matter. Just take the first thing that comes to you. Now ask, whose fear are you? You may receive an answer just as simple as yours, or it could be the name of someone. Again, take the first thing that comes to your mind. Whose fear are you? You're not necessarily going to hear it from your ears. You may just know what it is. Okay, depending upon whose fear it is, we handle it a little differently. So first, we're going to release the fear that you got came from someone else. Let's say it came from mom. You're going to speak to that fear from someone else in a commanding voice. Now, I'll give you the words and I'll try to use the tone of voice that I want you to use. And I'll give you time to say the words. Are you ready? Say firmly, "You are not mine. I will not carry you any more. You must leave now." Take a deep breath and imagine blowing that energy. Imagine it like a cloud. You're blowing that energy out of your body. Okay, let's repeat this. Focusing on the energy, whatever's left. You are not mine. I will not carry you anymore. You must leave now. Another deep breath. Blow it out of your body. Now notice how your body feels different. Some people say it's lighter. Some people say, well, I just feel different. Even if you don't notice anything now, pay attention to the next few days. Notice how you respond to different situations where you've often felt fear. Is the fear less, or did you even notice what had happened? Now, let's work with the energy of fear which came up from within you that you stuffed. The process is similar, but you'll use different words. So focus on the fear, that place in your body wherever the fear is, and speak to that fear. Fear, I want to speak to you. Now say, and you do this gently, "Thank you for letting me know there was something I was afraid of." I'm okay now. You did a great job, and I don't need you anymore. It's time for you to leave. Leave now. Take a deep breath and blow the cloud of fear from your body. Repeat the process. Again, focusing on that energy where the fear is. Say aloud, "Thank you for letting me know there was something I was afraid of. I'm okay now. I don't need you anymore. You did a great job. It's time for you to leave." Take a deep breath, blow it out of your body. You can repeat the words as often as you want, and you don't have to use those exact words, and blow that energy out of your body as many times as you need. If you know that there is fear coming from different people, which can happen when you live a while, right? Is that you can follow the process with each person. So, for instance, when you feel fear and you get in touch with it, again, ask, whose fear are you? If you get the answer, parents, say which parent. It could be both, it could be mom, it could be dad. If you get teacher, which teacher? Now, you may have an idea of who that is, but if you get that it's a whole slew of people, do one at a time. Once you get experience in this, one at a time, and release that energy. Now, there's another way that you can do it also, is that you can say from your heart, roots growing from your feet, you can say, "I want to talk to the fear in my body." You can even say, "I want to talk to all the fear in my body." Fear, I don't need you anymore. I don't need to carry you anymore. Leave now. Deep breath, blow it out. So, how do you use it in your daily life? Notice when you're afraid. Just notice that. Go into your heart, or reach from your feet, and just say to yourself, "Where do I feel the fear?" You'll find it. And then you can ask, "Whose fear are you?" Or you can just deal with the fear as it is and say, "I don't need you anymore. Leave now." Take a deep breath and release it. Now, one of the things that I like to do is that when you release something, that means there's emptiness in there. Is I will connect with God and I ask God to fill that empty space with all the love that I needed. And just receive that love, because God always sends you love if you ask. Now, I have one more process to share with you, and it's a simple process. Some people find it easier than the blowing the fear out thing. And the reason it's easier is because you go into your heart and you ask for the soul healing team to come to you. Do that now. Notice what you feel. Can you feel them there? Whether you notice it or not, they're there. They are definitely there. Good. Now, if an event comes to your mind that you're afraid of, ask the soul healing team to find the wound which produced that fear. Now, you may or may not know what the wound is, but you just have a sense that they know what that wound is. Now, in the soul healing process, where the foundation comes from is that when something happens to us, whether it's fear or pain, and emotional pain. We get kind of discombobulated. Psychology, we call it dissociation. And it's like we send away part of ourselves, and it's the part that has the pain in it. Your soul healing team is going to return those parts, and they are going to be absolutely clean and perfect. So you already have your soul healing team there. Think of something that you're afraid of, and tell them you want them to please bring back to you all the missing parts of yourself that are related to that fear, that pain, that wound. Soul healing team, please find and bring back to me. Go ahead and say those words. Please find and bring back to me all the pieces of myself that are missing, that have anything to do with what I'm feeling or the wound that I'm asking you to heal. Just notice anything. Please clean, repair, and heal all pieces. So the cleansing is like removing other feelings that may be caught there: anger, shame, jealousy. The heal are like holes and tears. With some events, people feel like part of their soul was ripped out. So that's the clean, repair, and heal part. And the next step, please fully integrate all pieces within me. The last step, by the way, is thank you. Now just notice yourself. Many people say they feel different. They're not able to identify it. Some people say they feel lighter. How do you feel? Notice. I often suggest to my clients that they use this prayer on 3 different things every day. Some people, they wait until night. You can do it with your partner, significant others, kids, if the kids will let you do it with them. And you can choose, let's see, something that happened in the past that kind of came up that day, or something that's been bothering you like that in the past. Something that happened today, and then something you're afraid will happen in the future. And each time you're asking your soul healing team to find and bring back all the pieces of yourself which are missing, that are causing those emotions, that are almost having you not fully present. I'm hoping that you're reviewing this in your mind. Okay. Now, if you download the free gift that I have for you, there's a longer discussion about this process and what it does for you, the soul healing process. What is also in the free gift is a series of 7 videos on something which also can help to release fear, but which I was not able to do today because I didn't have the time. And that's encodements. And encodements are your smallest energy structures. And you can actually work with the encodement team to bring healing to that. In each one of the videos that I have given you is that you will do healing in each one, different things. And I have no idea what it's going to be your experience, but healing occurs. You'll also meet your healing team, which is really a lot of fun. Again, I want to thank you for listening to this talk, and I wish you the best with much, much healing. Blessings and blessings and blessings to you.